Seth freaking Rollins has finally been exposed as the mastermind behind the mystery attackers. WHO paralyzed Bron Breakker, and I am ready to explode with rage right now. The man who positioned himself as WWE's moral compass, who preached about integrity and doing things the right way, just got caught red-handed as the monster who orchestrated the most heinous attack in wrestling history. Seth Rollins didn't just cost Braun the Royal Rumble, he destroyed his career, paralyzed him, and potentially ruined his life forever. If you're not absolutely furious that this hypocrite snake has been masquerading as a hero while secretly being the most vile villain WWE has ever seen, then you don't understand the depth of Rollins' betrayal. This is bigger than wrestling. This is about a sociopath who needs to be in prison. The reveal happened during a special investigative segment on Monday Night Raw that Triple H personally conducted. The chief content officer came to the ring with law enforcement officials, FBI agents, and a mountain of evidence that he promised would expose the identity of the mystery attackers once and for all. Triple H looked furious and heartbroken as he began presenting the findings of a multi-week investigation that involved forensic analysis, financial audits, and witness testimony. Triple H started by showing security footage that WWE had been analyzing frame by frame. The footage showed the three masked attackers arriving at the arena in a black SUV approximately 2 hours before Raw went on air. But here's the smoking gun. When forensic experts enhanced the footage and ran the license plate, the vehicle came back as registered to a rental company. And when investigators traced the rental agreement, it was paid for with a credit card belonging to a shell company called Redesign Enterprises. That name should sound familiar to anyone who's followed Seth Rollins' career. Redesign, rebuild, reclaim, has been Rollins' motto for years. Triple H then presented financial records showing that Redesign Enterprises was created 3 years ago and is wholly owned by Seth Rollins. The paper trail connecting Rollins to the rental car that brought the attackers to Raw was irrefutable. But the evidence was only getting started. Triple H then revealed phone records that absolutely destroyed any chance of Rollins claiming innocence. In the 48 hours leading up to the Raw attack that paralyzed Bron Breakker, Seth Rollins made 37 phone calls to 3 different burner phones. These weren't brief check-ins, these were lengthy conversations ranging from 15 to 45 minutes. The timing and frequency of these calls showed coordination and planning. Rollins was clearly communicating with the 3 masked attackers, giving them instructions, finalizing the assault plan. But here's where the evidence becomes absolutely damning beyond any reasonable doubt. Triple H played audio recordings of several of those phone calls that FBI wiretaps had captured. You could hear Seth Rollins' voice, unmistakably his voice, giving detailed instructions to the attackers. Rollins said, "I want Breakker taken out permanently. I don't care what it takes. Target his spine, make sure he never gets up." The malice in Rollins' voice was chilling. On another recording, you could hear Seth Rollins discussing payment with one of the masked attackers. Rollins said, "You'll each get $200,000 when the job is done. Half now, half after. Make it look random but make it devastating." The fact that Rollins put a price on destroying Bron Breakker's life, that he was willing to pay $600,000 to have a 26-year-old paralyzed, shows a level of evil that transcends anything we've seen in wrestling. Triple H then identified the 3 masked attackers by name, and the reveals are shocking. The first attacker was revealed to be Buddy Matthews, Rollins' former disciple from his Monday Night Messiah days. The second was Tony Nese, a wrestler who's been out of WWE but apparently remained loyal to Rollins. The third was revealed to be Arya Daivari, another former WWE wrestler who Rollins had helped earlier in his career. All 3 men had history with Rollins and owed him favors or loyalty. Security brought all 3 men out in handcuffs. Matthews, Nese, and Daivari were already under arrest, and they all looked defeated. Triple H gave each of them a chance to speak, and what they revealed made Seth Rollins look even worse. Buddy Matthews broke down and confessed that Rollins had contacted him months ago, exploited his financial struggles, and promised him money and a WWE return if he helped eliminate the Bron Breakker problem. Tony Nese revealed that Seth Rollins had been planning this for over 6 months. Rollins saw Bron Breakker's rise as a threat to his own position in WWE and decided that the only way to maintain his spot was to destroy the competition permanently. Nese said Rollins specifically instructed them to make the final attack look like it went too far accidentally, but that the goal was always to cause career-ending injury. Ariya Daivari testimony was the most damning of all. Daivari revealed that after the attack that paralyzed Braun, Seth Rollins called him and said, "Good work. Breaker won't be a problem anymore." When Daivari expressed remorse about potentially paralyzing someone, Rollins allegedly said, "Don't get soft on me now. This is the wrestling business, only the strong survive." The callousness and lack of empathy was sickening. And then Triple H played the final piece of evidence that left no doubt about Seth Rollins' guilt. Security footage from a parking garage showed Seth Rollins meeting with all three masked men just days after they paralyzed Bron Breakker. In the footage, you can see Rollins handing them duffel bags, presumably containing the second half of their payment. Rollins was caught on camera paying off the people who destroyed Braun's life. The crowd at Monday Night Raw was in absolute shock. The arena erupted in boos so loud they were deafening. Fans were screaming, "Arrest him!" and "Where is Seth?" The hatred for Rollins was palpable and immediate. This wasn't heel heat. This was genuine disgust from people who felt betrayed by someone they'd supported. Triple H then revealed that Seth Rollins was arrested earlier that day at his home. Law enforcement had executed a warrant, taken Rollins into custody, and he was currently being held without bail on charges of conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, solicitation to commit grievous bodily harm, and potentially attempted murder if Braun's paralysis is deemed permanent. Rollins is facing 25 years to life in prison. But Triple H wasn't done destroying Seth Rollins' legacy. Hunter announced that Rollins is banned from WWE for life. His name will be stripped from all championships he's won. His merchandise will be pulled from WWE Shop. His matches will be removed from WWE Network highlight packages. WWE is erasing Seth Rollins from their history like he never existed. The career assassination is complete. Triple H then showed footage from Rollins' arrest, and seeing Seth in handcuffs being led away by police was satisfying beyond words. Rollins was screaming, "You can't prove anything. I want my lawyer," even as the evidence against him was overwhelming. The arrogance and denial even when caught red-handed shows what a narcissist Rollins truly is. Let me tell you why this revelation is so much more than just a wrestling storyline. Seth Rollins orchestrated an attack that left a 26-year-old man paralyzed. Bron Breakker cannot walk, may never wrestle again, faces years of rehabilitation, and has had his life destroyed. And Rollins did this out of pure jealousy and career preservation. The monstrousness of that is beyond comprehension. The hypocrisy of Seth Rollins is what makes this revelation so disgusting. For years, Rollins positioned himself as WWE's locker room leader. He gave interviews about professionalism and respect. He criticized other wrestlers for being selfish. And the entire time, he was plotting to literally paralyze a younger competitor he saw as a threat. Rollins is a psychopath who manipulated everyone. Becky Lynch, Rollins' wife, released a statement that's absolutely heartbreaking. Becky said, "I had no knowledge of Seth's involvement in these attacks. I'm horrified, devastated, and cooperating fully with law enforcement. I'm filing for divorce immediately and seeking full custody of our daughter. The man I thought I knew doesn't exist. Even Rollins' own family is abandoning him." The WWE locker room's reaction has been unanimous condemnation. Every single wrestler who worked with Rollins feels betrayed. Roman Reigns posted, "I stood beside this man in the Shield, and I feel sick knowing what he's capable of." Dean Ambrose Jon Moxley said, "I always knew Seth was a snake, but I never imagined he'd go this far." The universal rejection is total. Here's what absolutely enrages me. Seth Rollins planned this for months. He methodically recruited accomplices, arranged financing, coordinated the attacks, and executed a plan to paralyze Bron Breakker. This wasn't heat of the moment. This wasn't an accident. This was premeditated destruction of a human being. Rollins is a monster. The legal consequences Seth Rollins faces are severe. With the evidence Triple H presented, financial records, phone logs, audio recordings, video footage, witness testimony, Rollins is going to be convicted. His lawyers can't argue this away. Rollins is looking at decades in prison. His wrestling career is over, his freedom is gone, his family has abandoned him. Total destruction. But here's what breaks my heart. none of this fixes what happened to Bron Breakker. Even with Rollins arrested and facing justice, Bron is still paralyzed. He's still facing an uncertain medical future. Rollins' conviction won't give Bron his career back, won't let him walk again, won't undo the trauma. The damage is permanent. The vindication for everyone who suspected Seth Rollins is sweet but bittersweet. We were right to be suspicious. We were right to call Rollins a snake. But being right doesn't feel good when the cost was Bron Breakker's career and health. The victory is hollow. Scott Steiner released a video response to the revelation that Seth Rollins was behind the attacks, and his rage is terrifying. Scott said, "Seth Rollins, you're going to prison, but that's not enough. You destroyed my son's life. When you get out, if you get out, I'll be waiting. You'll pay for what you did to Bron in ways the legal system can't touch." The threat is real. The wrestling community is rallying around Bron Breakker in the wake of this revelation. Benefit shows are being organized. Fundraisers are collecting money for his medical expenses. Wrestlers are visiting Bron in the hospital offering support. The unity shows that while one wrestler, Rollins, is evil, the wrestling family as a whole is good. I want your reaction to Seth Rollins being exposed as the mastermind. Drop comments expressing your fury. Hit that like button if you want Rollins to face maximum prison time. Subscribe to Ring Rumble 1 with notifications on for updates on the legal proceedings. Should Rollins get life in prison? Will Bron ever recover? How could WWE let this happen? Is this the end of Rollins forever? Let me know everything because Seth Rollins just became the most hated person in wrestling history, and justice is finally being served.